You're listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey B. Joe Pisapia, and welcome to On Deck right here on the LineStar app. It's me, it's Chris Meaney, and it's you, and it's Monday, baby. Happy Monday. It's back to the grind, but what a weekend it was. Oh, baby, starting on Friday night, Chris. We did pretty good. And again, I just missed it. I'm playing these mega tournaments for S's and G's just because it's not something I ever do. And it's 2 times now. Not only have I cashed big in them, but I was so close with one stupid switch out that I made where, Chris, I would have gone all the way up to the top. So I feel like I'm going to start telling some people on the FanDuel side over there, Chris, maybe it's time for everybody to take your single entry shares and move on over to the big GPPs that have the multi-entry, because let me tell you something, it seems like everybody out there is getting a little too fancy for their own good.
Yeah, trying to be too cute with your lineups. I know I get a lot of questions like that, Joe, and I'm sure you do as well, trying to win tournaments. Everybody wants to win the big cash. You and I, me, I think I'm a cash game player. I love it over on FanDuel, talking value all year and just sticking to those teams like the Dodgers and the Twins who have just been, yeah, sure, they're a little chalky, but the price stands out. And if you're playing them, you're winning. And sometimes you can get a little bit too cute with your lineup, just trying to be a little bit different with your pitchers. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's working out. And I know I was talking to you about your lineup. I mean, Woodruff was your guy too. I mean, you wrote him up. Well, you loved him on Friday.
I did it. I got too fancy. So on the Friday night lineup, I had Crone for 2K on FanDuel because he was nothing. I was like, he's starting, he's sitting 6th. I'm throwing him out there in Toronto. And he went yard. Too. He got me 32, which wasn't terrible, but he had the 10 strikeouts, so it was fine.
Yeah.
But had I had Woodruff, it would have been better. I had Simeon in that lineup, Delino DeShields, Ronald Acuna. But the kicker was, had I had Woodruff and Cruz, I probably would have won the whole thing. And that took a 0 instead from my boys, Chris Davis and Jeff McNeil. They left me 0s, but that's a fickle mistress. What is DFS, right? But the good news is, Chris, as far as home run calls, Nelson Cruz, ding, 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 put it on the board, Dan O'Grady, put it on the board, because I know he's got the board going now. So
put it on the board
again.
Yes,
put that bad boy on the board. So another dinger called correctly. I forget, you had Chapman this weekend, did you not?
I did have Chapman, and he didn't do anything. I know it was one of the 3. I mean, Chapman, Olsen.
Well, I had Chris Davis on Friday, and he's been up a giant goose egg, but he did go yard Sunday, so that doesn't count because that was the Friday night show.
Yeah,
but the weekend show, I got Nelson Cruz over the weekend. I was mad because I was looking at it and Cruz went yard on Friday. I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, Davis a home run
on Friday.
You're right. You're all over it either way. Davis a home run on Sunday and Olsen a home run on Sunday. Cruz a home run on Sunday. And Cruz, too, like you mentioned his price on FanDuel over the weekend. I mean, he was 3-1 on Sunday. And again, this is what I'm saying about the Twins. Like, it was a great betting weekend as well. I mean, Milwaukee sweeps Pittsburgh, Arizona sweeps Toronto, Atlanta sweeps Miami. We were all over that. Minnesota takes 2 of 3 from Detroit. The Dodgers take 2 of 3 from San Fran. I mean, we're talking about heavy favorites. Yeah, it seems a little chalky, but again, on Sunday, the Twins, I was looking and you could literally go anywhere you wanted to with the lineup. And at the end of the day, you would have had success going anywhere you wanted with the lineup. I mean, only one guy, it was only Kepler who didn't have a great day on Sunday. He was the only one for 4. Everybody else had an RBI. Everybody else scored a run. Crone is mashing lefties. You're all over Cruz, who again is just dirt cheap over on FanDuel. They're snoozing over there. So guys, if you haven't played, really just think about making the switch. You only got to worry about one pitcher. Take advantage of some of the value over there, and
at least right now for the foreseeable future. Because let me tell you something: the loose pricing on some of those offensive players is just out of control good. It's just great. Not only that, we were all over the Rangers and A's. I mean, 17 runs in that game. And Montas was still good anyway. He still got the W. Giolito on Saturday, my God, was he good. We were again all over the chalk on him too, saying it's the right thing to do. Don't overthink it. I mean, I know it's Kansas City and they're not like a stellar offense, but I don't care at this point. He's doing it just across the board, man. I'm putting this to you. In a league next year, do you want him or do you want Clayton Kershaw?
Ooh,
There's a long pause there. You see the pause, everybody? You hear that pause? Because you
there's a
got to go oof and
pause.
think about it, right?
You really do. And with Kershaw, I mean, obviously not the same guy. The velocity is not there either. So, I mean, Lucas Giolito was, again, we mentioned it. He was a top prospect, and sometimes it
Yeah.
takes some time to figure it out. I mean, he obviously got shipped out of town, and he has figured things out. He has looked tremendous. He really has.
And
Um,
who else has figured things out too is Odorizzi too. Another guy we had a lot of weekend love for some specific
ugh.
pitchers here.
So I ran
And
the
we
numbers on
yeah.
Odorizzi, and I got some. I just want, like, okay, so his last 47 innings, this guy has allowed 4 runs in his last
Wow.
47 innings and only 28 hits over that span. And
Amazing.
that's
An
8
amazing run.
starts. That's 8 starts and 6 shutout performances in that. It's an amazing run. It really is. And if only we could say the same thing, Joe, about Drew Smiley, who got lit up again. He went
Well,
3 innings and gave up 5 earned runs. I think it's it. I think it's over for him.
it's got to be it. Well, also some exciting news too is because he got Yordan Alvarez called up
Mhm.
and he goes yard
He
in his
does.
very first game, which means FanDuel cheap pricing for Alvarez for the
Yeah.
foreseeable future, right? Like it's got to
Yeah.
be
You're right.
there. That's the
So the one negative, I guess, is that you couldn't play him on Sunday because FanDuel, again, snoozing. Like, you could play him on
snoozing.
DraftKings, but he wasn't available on Sunday. But he will be this week, not playing tonight, the Astros. But
No, but
nonetheless,
we'll keep an
somebody
eye out. We're
guaranteed, Joe, you'll get for cheap this week.
my eyes are peeled, everybody. So you gotta be ready. Keep your eyes peeled. This is it's sometimes you gotta be ahead of the curve, and we know what the curve has been for quite some time, and we're gonna continue to stay above the curve, and that means we gotta start with Monday, and it's a new day.
It
Yes, it
is.
is. So let's get after it. Now it's obviously not a full slate of games here on the Monday. You got some teams traveling, some off days and whatnot, but let's break it down here and let us start with Jason Vargas. Here we go again. Jason Vargas at 6.8 on FanDuel. Masahiro Tanaka at 8.9 as the Mets Yankees Subway Series starts. Snooze. God, I remember when this was like the thing in
Oh,
the New
like
York area.
Piazza? Yeah, Piazza days?
Yeah. Oh my God. The world stood still here for the first couple of years of this when it
Clemens and
was
Piazza. That was like 2000,
even
right?
before, yeah, it was around the 2099. Like the late 90s version was when it first started, even before that in the mid 90s, it was freaking ridiculous. It was electric then. And then it got more electric when the Mets were actually good and
Hmm.
competitive. And now it's like, whatever. Like it's just,
What?
and
Why?
this is why,
Is it because of the Mets?
well, it's
Like,
because
what?
number one, the Mets have been bad for a while. And
Yeah.
even when they were good, they were kind of, nobody believed it. But I think it's also just the, the luster is worn off. I think the whole interleague play luster is gone anyway. I don't get it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
this
we
is
got
why I think,
this. It's the Subway Series today and the Freeway Series today with
yeah,
LA.
and this is
Yeah,
why I think the DH should be everywhere now because if everyone's
agreed.
playing, if American League and National League and everyone's playing everybody, who cares? What's the point? Just do it. Just get rid of it. Just all DH all the time. Nobody can hit anymore. But anyway, Tanaka is 7.9, Vargas 7.6 on DraftKings. So Vargas has been much better the last 2 starts. In fact, one of them was a complete game shutout. I know. I just said those words. Now, I don't like him going into Yankee Stadium. I'm going to take a hard pass here on him. I'm not going to ride the wave. It's going to take a lot of discipline to not ride the wave. I know a lot of you out there are going to want to. There might be some rain in this game as well. You're not
Yeah.
riding the wave, are you?
No, no, no. I mean, it
Okay.
is a heck of a wave. I mean, 1 or 0 runs in 6 of his past 7 starts. You mentioned the complete game shutout, which is in his last outing. But overall, I mean, 37 strikeouts, 19 walks in 45 innings. He still has a high fly ball rate, 39%, a high hard hit rate at 40%. And his ERA in Citi Field is 2.52. On the road, it's flirting near 5. It's 4.87. And even if the Yankees, I look at their team against lefties, they're starting to get some guys back now, obviously. But
Yeah, Didi came back over
Didi
the
came
weekend.
back.
That's good. He's just 3.3 on FanDuel. I just want to point that out.
Yep.
He's 3.3, Torres 3.4, Aaron Hicks 3.5, and Hicks has been red hot too. So, I mean, Yankee stacking against Jason Vargas,
Yes.
I'm all about tonight, 100%.
Yeah. How do you feel about Tanaka? I mean, he hasn't been the best. I mean, he's allowed some home runs. In his last 2 starts against Toronto and San Diego, 2 teams that strike out a ton. I mean, San Diego the most, Jays top 5, worst average in baseball. He only racked up 9K in those 2 outings. He gave up 8 runs on 15 hits. He's been just like hot and cold, but I'm not completely sold on the Mets lineup. If you're going to get a couple guys in to be contrarian, I think it'd be the lefty bats and McNeil and Conforto, maybe Dominic Smith. But
it is. But I'll tell you what, it's got to have Alonso in it. It's not so much. It's
that's who
hard
has
on
the highest
DraftKings.
ceiling. Yeah.
Just because the power is so. It's just he's got just real authentic slugger power. That he's Paul Konerko. That's what I keep telling everybody. And Paul Konerko, go back and look at how good Paul Konerko was in those years. You go list 3,100 every year, 35, 110 every year for like a decade. That's what Alonso is to me. And it's tougher on DK, but on FanDuel, it's 4. 4K is doable. Like I can live with that in this matchup on a short slate tonight.
Yeah, especially with the fact that Tanaka has allowed a home run in 9 of his last 11 starts. So even if he does have a decent outing where he allows 2-3 runs, there's a good chance he's going to allow a home run. We talked about that before with him, with that splitter. I mean, you're just going to allow home runs from time to time. You're just going to hang one. But yeah, I mean, if there's one guy, that's the guy. The highest ceiling is Alonso. But neither of these pitchers, obviously more exposure to Tanaka than Vargas, but not high on my radar.
No, and Todd Frazier's is 2.6. I just want to point that out there on FanDuel also. So
and you were all over him this past week too, swinging a better bat.
I told you he's hitting the ball hard. I know he
Yes.
wasn't healthy at all last year. He just was not, and he wasn't healthy to start this year too. So if this guy's finally healthy, I mean, Todd Frazier's one of the great athletes you'll ever see. Like he really is. And I think people forget that sometimes. And he's had a lot of injuries and a lot of issues. Now let's go over to Philadelphia because you have Jared Eichhoff, who's 7-4 on FanDuel, taking on Taylor Clark. Looks like there's going to be some wind blowing out to left field in this game, too. That's something to keep in mind, especially for those right-handed bats. Guys like Hoskins and guys like Ketel Marte, who is going to be hitting from the – actually, no, he's going to be hitting from the left side. My apologies. So, look, it's really Hoskins and Real Muto, those big right-handed bats there, too. I wonder if Cron's going to get a little bit more action potentially, too, going forward. What's your feeling on Eichhoff here? Because I feel like on a night where there's not a lot of choices, you got to kind of dig deeper. Is Eichhoff one of these guys that's in the conversation for you at all?
Sometimes he is against teams that strike out because, he can rack up a few K. But with that wind blowing out, one thing I've noticed from Eichhoff, I mean, he enters on a 5-game home run streak. He's allowed 11 homers over that span. And this is not a great environment for him. I mean, he's allowed 20 runs over his last 5 starts. It's only 24 innings, a 45% fly ball rate, a 42% hard hit rate. So really looking into some numbers with Eichhoff, and it has been left-handed bats who have really just beat him up this year. So I'm really looking at David Peralta. He has a 394 WOBA, 326 average against righties this year. And just looking at Eichhoff again, left-handed bat slugging 594 against him, a 384 WOBA, and a 52% hard hit rate, which is the highest in baseball. So normally I do like Eichhoff. So that's why I was looking in just a little bit deeper into his numbers because he does have some strikeout upside. But with that wind blowing out, like you mentioned, even if it is to left, I still think David Peralta is a solid play. Arizona, I mean, I know they just played the Jays, but they had a pretty good weekend here in Toronto at the Rogers Center. They were scoring some runs. I mean, they just smash lefties. I know Eichhoff is a righty, but keep that in mind. I think Peralta is definitely worth the price tonight.
All right, now you got 3 big aces on the board tonight, and one of them is Charlie Morton. He is 9-9 on DraftKings. On the FanDuel side, Charlie Morton is 10-5. So, look, Morton's been brilliant. It's going to be Tanner Anderson making the start here. So,
yikes!
Got to imagine this is going to be, a good matchup here for Morton. Now, I understand we love the A's. Look, we've been talking about the A's for weeks now. This is where I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit because that's how good Morton's been. And Morton at home, especially in that ballpark, there's a lot to like there. So for me, I think if you don't want to go to Sale and Ryu just because you think those ownerships going to be off the charts, Morton is the perfect pivot there. And I don't even know if I feel like that the ownership is going to be split 3 ways on these guys because there's not that much of a difference in price. Sale is more expensive there on FanDuel than him, but Ryu is 10-7 and Morton is basically this is 10-5. Like, I don't know. I think it's a tough sell, Chris.
It is. Ryu is going to jump out, I think, on the page. We'll get to him in a little bit. His number is obviously fantastic. But I agree. I think Morton is that pivot off the top, especially on FanDuel. If you want to be a little bit contrarian, we're talking about being cute, but this isn't really being all that cute with Charlie Morton. I mean, he's allowed 2 or fewer runs in 11 of 13 starts this season. He's got 91 strikeouts in 74 innings. And Oakland is a team that, they hit lefties really well. So this is a plus matchup for Charlie Morton. Even Olsen sat one of the games over the weekend. I'm sure he's going to play, but they're just not as strong against right-handing pitching. So there's not my favorite pitcher on the board, but you can have some exposure to him. We'll say that because he just has been so dominant. I mean, 2.30 ERA, fresh off an 8 shutout inning showing against the Tigers. So yeah, I definitely have some exposure to him, but we'll get into the guys. I mean, it's hard to get away from Sale and Ryu tonight.
I'll tell you what, I know I've been a hard pass to a lot on Meadows, but I think tonight's a Meadows night. Yeah. I think tonight's the night where I can go there, and I'll tell you why. It's because you get this guy Anderson on here, young right-handed pitcher, and
his numbers are bad, Joe.
His numbers are real bad, and I think what you have that opportunity where actually, and I know he's 5'4" on DK, but I'm going to tell you how to get him in a bit. Just stick with me because there's a will, there's a way, and there's a pitcher that we can pair up with Charlie Morton. It's going to or Ryu or Sale tonight, and it's going to work out just fine because there's a lot of discounted pitching over on DK. I don't know what's going on here. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And it's Michael Wacha at 6 against Sandy Alcantara at 6'9". Those are two cheaper guys there. Not the guy I'm talking about yet, but these are two cheaper guys too. I know we usually, don't like to go pitchers against the Cardinals because we have great respect for that lineup. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you have a beat on Alcantara and Wacha? I know Alcantara sometimes can throw out those big K games, but still walks too many guys for me. So I'm out on this one.
That's my thing too. I mean, he's got a 5.83 K per 9 and a 4.06 walks per 9. So I mean, it's almost dead even, which is not what you want. But he has been good in 3 of his last 4 starts. And we mentioned the Cardinals over the weekend is still ranked dead last in terms of WOBA and average and runs over the last 2 weeks. They're really just struggling. I know Matt Carpenter is back in the lineup. He went yard over the weekend. I don't really have a feel for any of these two pitchers. I wanted to get crazy with Wacha. Then you look at the game log and it's just like, I mean, it's just so brutal. I mean, he only went 2 1/3 his last time out. And then the start before that actually wasn't even a start. He just came out of the pen. He had an inning and he gave up 5 hits and 6 runs. He gave up 3 homers and walked 3 guys. So it's way too hard to even get behind Michael Wacha. I'd be shocked if he went 5-6 innings in this outing tonight, even against Miami. So it's a complete pass. I'll just shy away from everyone altogether. If you want to get nuts with Alcantara and try to ride the wave, maybe the Cardinals are just continue to be in a funk. You can go that way if you want, but this is a pass for me in terms of these two pitchers.
Well, I want to get nuts with Chris Sale tonight. That's what I want to do. Chris Sale is at home against the Texas Rangers. Get this, Chris. 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 5 starts have been double-digit strikeout games. Okay,
he's back.
He's at home, and on DK, he's just 10. And I say just, but 10.9. That's real doable. Like I could get down with that. On FanDuel, more expensive, as I pointed out before. He's 11.8, so $1,000 difference there. So for me, Chris Sale on DK tonight, this is a no-brainer. And I can still work Meadows in because of the next thing we're going to get to. But Mike Minor's been a guy that has impressed us this year at times for sure. It's nothing against you, Mike Minor. I'm not going contrarian with Mike Minor against Chris Sale tonight. Not doing it. Sticking with Sale at home, especially without Joey Gallo in that lineup. You look at the bottom of that lineup with Mathis and Guzman and even Logan Forsythe, whoever else they throw out there. There's going to be a lot of Ks there. Even guys like DeShields are going to strike out against him.
For sure.
And you'll probably see guys like Mazzara sit. Like, I don't think Mazzara is going to play in that game.
Well, look at all the lefties. That's the thing, right? I mean, they rank 4th overall in striker percentage, 25%, 4th overall against lefties, and it's 27%. So they strike out even more against lefties, and they just don't do well with all of those left-handed bats in their lineup. It's tough. And as good as Delano DeShields has been since his call-up, and he has been good, and he's hitting near the top of the order. Chu missed a couple games of the weekend. He led off. But he's just not going to be able to have success against Chris Sale. Like, no offense to Lino. Sale's back. He looks back. So I agree.
I've been using DeShields a lot. Like,
he's been a great value.
He's been terrific value, and he gets you points in different ways.
On FanDuel.
Yeah, but you're not tonight, kids.
No. And I do want to get some bats from Boston. It all depends. Obviously, JD Martinez, if he can play, we know all about JD. League high WOBA, 507 against lefties, hitting 365 bombs. We know about that.
Yeah.
But there's some other guys in there too. Well,
Benintendi's cheap too. He's 3.5.
Benintendi's cheap.
Again, because of the lefty. But Benintendi's a professional hitter, so it doesn't worry me as much.
Right.
Bogarts and Betts, I think, are the two guys
Love
in this
Bogarts.
one that really popped to me.
Yeah.
I think
Bogarts
and
you get
Betts
even crazy with
where you want to go.
Christian Vasquez is hitting 320. I don't know if he can get a lot up, but if you want to punt the catcher position over on DK in a small slate like this, I mean Vasquez is hitting 327 against lefties. But Bogarts he's got a 431 WOBA, 5 bombs. So those are the guys I'd really like to get in that meat of the lineup in there.
I agree. Now, how do you do that? Well,
here
I'm
it is.
Tell you how, and you're gonna do it with my boy. He's back, Joe Musgrove.
Oh,
I'm buying back in. He's just 5'2", Chris. He's
I
5'2" against Atlanta. And I know Ronald Acuna's out of his mind right now. I get it. But he's going against Kevin Gascan. Okay, that's right. I just renamed him. Kevin Gausman's now Kevin Gascan. That's it. He's done. It's been absolutely brutal. Dallas Keuchel's on his way. He's riding a white horse that also has a beard that looks just like Dallas Keuchel. And it's going to save the day in a couple weeks, theoretically. But look, Musgrove has worked himself back into my good graces. I'm happy with Musgrove. I will take this shot with him. Last start, 6 innings. 2 starts ago, 6 innings, 6 Ks. The one after that, 8 innings, 6 Ks. He is, I think, back, and I will take my shot, even though I have great respect for Atlanta. I'll take my shot with Joe Musgrove. He's my guy. He's how I'm getting the Meadows. He's how I'm getting the Betts. He's how I'm getting the Bogarts, all those guys with Chris Sale. That's how I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with Joe Musgrove as my secondary pitcher. Chris, you with me?
I don't know, man. I'm not completely.
It's too bad.
I'm not,
all right,
but I understand it. I actually think he's the best value on the board. There's no question. 5'2" is ridiculous.
5'2".
It's almost bare minimum, right? I mean,
no, I'm not saying he's your standalone pitcher for tournaments on FanDuel. I'm not going to say that. But on a night where you got Sale, you got Ryu, you got Morton, you got to find somebody you can get in there. And Minor normally would be a guy that we would consider, but he's going against Sale, so that's out. Gausman, I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole.
See, I thought about Gausman
in Colorado.
I know. I thought about Gausman because it's the same sort of feel. It's like it's 6'4". He's obviously been worse. Yeah, I mean, he's allowed 15 runs in his last 6 innings. He's been brutal. But yeah, this is the way to go. This is a strategy to take.
And look, everyone can take me to task on it if it fails.
No, I mean,
I'm okay with this, boys and girls.
But it's totally worth it.
I'm telling everybody now, it's okay. I can handle it. I'm tough. I was born in Brooklyn. I got thick skin. But I'm telling you, you got to find a way with the puzzle tonight to work it in. It's a short slate of games.
You're right. And I thought about Anibal Sanchez, and he can't with him because he's 8-1.
Screw that guy.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get it. I fully understand the strategy. You can get just about any bat if you want. You want to go Sale Musgrove. You want to go Rio Musgrove in lineups. You want to go Morton Musgrove in lineups. I like the strategy. I get behind it.
Come on. I knew I could talk you into it. I knew it. And
well, I was getting crazy enough with Gausman because I was just like, if the Braves win this game,
with Josh Bell tonight on another guy. Like, this is the night where you're like, oh, you know how we always say, well, we can't dance with Josh Bell. He's 5'7". We can't dance with Austin Meadows. He's 5'6", blah, blah, blah. Well, we can never do it because we're never in this unique situation where DraftKings all of a sudden it's a high and a low tonight. Yeah. And if you take a guy like Musgrove, who is, look, he's as good a bet as anybody else on this slate, especially with Chicago in Colorado, when everybody knows I love Marquez, but against the Cubs in Colorado, I'm not feeling that so much. But Musgrove, I'll take my shot. I'll live and die with that one.
It's a good shot to take. It really is.
Let's go. Let's do it. Anibal Sanchez, 8-1 on DK against the Sponge. God, I can't believe that guy's still in the league. We used to call him the Sponge. All he does is soak up today runs.
Too. Like, I was just like, wow, he's still hanging around.
He soaks up ERA. That's what he does. He just soaks it in.
Just brutal. I haven't seen him. I guess he had 5 starts in 2018, but he had an ERA that was almost 7. This guy.
Well, let's talk about this because this means Nationals. Now, Juan Soto's 5-1, Rendon's 5-6, and Trey Turner is 5. So, I mean, you are paying through the nose tonight, but you can do it. You can do it if you're careful. I'm telling you, it's all right. Now, on the FanDuel side of things,
well, look at the prices on the FanDuel side of things and tell me how Howie Kendrick is 2-9.
Forget that. How is Juan Soto 3-9?
It's so silly. I mean, Turner 3-9 off the top. Dozier's swinging a better bat lately, 2-7. It's ridiculous.
You look at the FanDuel, it's begging you to go with Ryu and then take a team like the Nationals because you can do Turner, Rendon, Soto, I think, with Ryu and find pieces tonight. It's not that bad, especially with some of the pieces we talked about earlier when you're going to get guys in the, in the 2s and things like that. It's very doable. It's not out of the question. It's not impossible to do. You shouldn't cry and whine about it because it's doable. And I think it's fine. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that tonight?
Oh, and
I don't think you can do it with Sale, mind you. I don't think you can go up to the board and Sale and do it.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, Rendon is the guy that you got to get in there for sure. 321 average, 8 homers, 431 WOBA against right-handed pitching. You just have to. I mean, he's a lock. And then with your stars and scrubs approach that you're presenting, which is nice, that allows you to do that with Anthony Rendon. I mean, they went back to back to back to back on Sunday. The first team ever in MLB history to do it twice. And they did it a couple of years ago as well. So
Crazy.
Howie Kendrick is just I'm impressed with him. And at 2.9, you're gonna do
Howie
that
Kendrick's
national
2.9
stack.
now. And DK, that's not the case. DK,
No.
Howie Kendrick is 5'2", boys and girls.
You
5'2",
pretty much
ladies
have
and
to
gentlemen.
fade him over there. You have to.
You
I
do.
mean, yeah.
You do. But he's totally in on FanDuel side. Now, here's where things get tricky with the slate. And I wish this game wasn't on there because it would make the slate so easy. But then you throw in the Colorado crap because they got Colorado and the Cubs. So not only is Colorado in there, but you're throwing a very good Cubs lineup too, guys like Rizzo and Bryant and Baez and stuff. So look, everybody knows I like Marquez. Everybody knows I'm a fan. It's 7-5 on FanDuel. Darvish is 7-1. On DK, Darvish is just 6-2, and German Marquez is 8-7. Now, I think Darvish is going to be a very popular secondary pitcher. I'm telling you. He's going to be a popular choice on DK just because he's had some moments here. I'll take my chances with Musgrove. I'm staying away out of Colorado. But how do you work Colorado into this tonight? Because it's very tricky. You basically have to say, okay, I'm either committing to the pitching or I'm committing to the offense. I think on DraftKings, I'm going to do all I can to commit to the offense. And with FanDuel, I'm going to do all I can to commit to the pitching. That's how I'm breaking it down tonight.
Yeah, I like that as well. I'm for sure. Oh, my pitchers on FanDuel, they'll be at the top 3 guys that we've talked about, Rio and Sale and Morton. That's just the way I'll go. I won't have any exposure to any other pitchers. None on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I won't touch this either. I'd rather touch Marquez than Darvish. I just see the upside. I mean, Darvish again. It's yeah, sure. He's only allowed 6 hits in his last 2 starts, 3 runs. It's positive. We're seeing some signs here, but again, it's walks. 6 walks in those 2 outings, 44 and 66 innings. Now he's got to go to Colorado. Like I can't do that. Story is just crushing righties. We all know his track record against lefties, but against righties this year, he's just absolutely killing them. So if you want any exposure, like Schwarber is still a value, even though he's 4.5. Like he has been in that 3 range.
Pops to me at 3.9 on FanDuel.
He jumps out too. I mean, we joked about Cargo, but he hit a home run on Sunday. I mean, he's got runs in 4 of his 5.
I joked. You were serious, and you were right. So
yeah, I was semi-serious. Like I think he's definitely doesn't have it anymore.
Well, he doesn't have it anywhere, but you made a point. It's the situation. It's a situation where the so low, if it bombs, it doesn't hurt you that much.
Yeah, I mean, he's 3K on
allows
DK.
you to do so much else, right?
When's the last time you've seen a guy in Colorado going into Colorado? Not to mention a guy that's going to hit in the 5 spot for that Cubbies.
Are you buying the narrative?
Not even that. I forgot about the revenge. It was a revenge last week was the joke, but he's started 5 games. He's got 4 runs in those 5 games. He's got hits in 4 of the 5. He had home run Sunday night. I mean, he's 3K on DraftKings. So I mean, let's be honest too. That's a punt play at outfield.
Getting out of Colorado is one thing. Going to the American League is another. I always think it's much harder when you go to another league and you got to learn new pitching and learn. It's a whole different feel thing. Going back in the National League, it's Chicago's not a bad ballpark. Last time I checked, to hit in. So it's going to be a tricky one. This is one where I feel like this is why the LineStar app is so useful because that optimizer tool. And some of the other tools they have on the website there are just, it's incredible. So make sure you're downloading the LineStar app because this is the kind of night where you need it. You need to be able to go in there and plug and play with different things and mix and match because the puzzle is very complicated tonight. You're going to have to take a little bit of risk with a secondary pitcher on DK tonight. And whether that risk is one of these Colorado guys or whether that risk is, like I'm telling you, Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, though that's the way. It's one of the guys in this Colorado, Chicago, or it's one of the guys in the Atlanta and Pittsburgh.
Because I think with Musgrove, you can go play around in Colorado tonight.
Agreed.
It all of a sudden it's like taking an entire, pitcher and cutting him in half because it's just so out of whack. And I don't care if it's high owned. I don't care if it's right. It's right. That's what matters.
Yes, 100%. Guys, don't worry about being too cute again. Different. Yeah. If it's chalk, it's okay. It's perfect. But the Twins have been chalk all weekend. And if you played the Twins all weekend, you cashed.
You won money. Yeah, you won money everywhere. All right, let's get to the last one. Hyunjin Ryu, which we're running out of adjectives to describe the run he's on. And lefties against the Angels. Come on, Chris. This is like, fish in a barrel. It's
Yeah,
like shooting fish in a barrel with an M16. I feel like this is not even fair.
I
But
know.
in all fairness, Trout has been outstanding lately.
Yes.
But it's Ryu, and I know we're in a place now where until it fails, I'm gonna just continue to ride this wave. Like I said, I love Ryu on FanDuel more because he's cheaper. On DraftKings, I'm gonna go with Sale. That's how I'm dividing and conquering tonight. If you want to get a little, just differential between those guys, it's Morton, and that's fine. You just kind of interchange them in multi-entry just to get different shares. But I mean, why not Ryu? Like, I'm trying to figure, like,
There's no reason not to. Yeah, the
ownership's not a good enough reason anymore. It's
no,
just
it's not.
He's been
This
that
the
good.
smallest reason, and that's it. That's why I agree with you on Sale over Ryu on DK, is because the Rangers, we talked about the top 4 strikeout overall and against lefties, with the Angels strike out the fewest against left-handed pitching. So that's the only thing. That's it. But you look at Ryu, and again, with his numbers, he's yet to allow more than 2 runs in his 12 starts. He comes in having allowed only 2 runs in his last 44 innings. That's a span of 6 starts. That gives you a 1.35 ERA. And it's not even just the runs. He's gone at least 6 innings in 8 straight starts. He's allowed 5 or fewer hits in 8 of his 12 starts this year. So, I mean, guys are not even touching him. So if the Angels make some contact, whatever, like, it's a good defensive team behind him. So, yeah, Ryu he stands out as, it's either him or Sale, right? And again, don't get too cute here. The Angels just faced 3 lefties in a row, actually, in Seattle. Gonzalez, they didn't do anything Friday against Gonzalez. Saturday, they lit up Kikuchi, who's just not a great pitcher at all. And then on Sunday, they ran into Wade LeBlanc, who's also not a great pitcher, and he went 6 innings and only gave up 2 runs. So it's a narrative that has stuck all year. I guess it's not really even a narrative. They just can't hit lefties. So Ryu he just checks all the boxes.
Yeah, he does. All right, and don't get cute with the Angels lineup too. Where you think I'm gonna go and get a little strange here. No,
and get Dodgers.
Can't do that tonight.
Get Dodgers in there. A couple guys for sure. I mean, obviously,
here's another one too.
Yeah.
You want to go on in a lineup? Like, you're talking about going in all in on Boston. How about going in LA with Bellinger 5-1? He's cheaper than some of these other guys.
Got to do it. I mean, Bellinger 381
Bellinger
average.
is cheaper than a lot of the big guys in the Colorado game tonight. He's cheaper than a lot of the big Red Sox. He's cheaper than a lot of guys. He's cheaper than Austin Meadows. Just saying.
Yeah, for sure. And listen to the 381 average leads baseball against righties, 13 home runs, 41 WOBA. Griffin Canning has allowed 7 homers in 7 starts. He's got a 48% fly ball rate. Jock Peterson leads baseball with 18 home runs against right-handed pitching. So he's another guy. And then Turner is hitting 354 with a 392 average WOBA against righties too. So yeah, again, it may feel like chalk, but if you do your stars and scrub, which I'm completely buying into now, you can get this Dodgers lineup in, and it's one I think you can't overlook.
All right, so let's do it. Let's call our shot. I was successful on the weekend, back on track, baby, starting the week off right, and I'm gonna go with Cody Bellinger because of that fact. I'm going with Cody Bellinger.
Make a call.
I'm telling you, I'm all in against Griffin Canning. Cody Bellinger going yard tonight in Anaheim. Chris, who you got?
I gave some love earlier to David Peralta, so let's stick with that. We'll go with Peralta.
Right. I thought you might go Jock Peterson after that brilliant Jock Peterson stat you threw at me.
I know.
You almost made me rethink my Cody Bellinger for a moment there.
I laid one up. I mean, the Dodgers, one of those guys is going to hit a home run. It could be all 3 of them. And you add in Turner in there. Corey Seager swinging a nice bat lately, too.
How about Muncy, too? Taking guys' yard and giving them stares and telling them, why don't you go get the ball out of the ocean, Madison Bumgarner, huh?
I actually loved it. Bumgarner, I thought he was going to chase him down around the diamond there.
I'm sick of the fake tough guy stuff. You want to hit somebody, go hit somebody.
Yeah, just go
do
it. Yeah.
And if you don't like him hitting a home run off you, don't give him a home run.
Exactly.
Don't serve up balls that go in the ocean. All right, there you go.
Time to trade
I hate
Bumgarner.
the fake tough guy stuff.
Where's Bumgarner next month?
God,
what jersey he's wearing?
I'll tell you what. With the Alvarez coming up, I thought it was like, Kyle Tucker is expendable. I mean, I think you can move Kyle Tucker and Forrest Whitley. You still got Josh James in that system. You've still got, he's basically up already. Let me say in the system, but I mean, still with some love there. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine Verlander, Cole, Bumgarner in a playoff series? I mean,
it would give them the World Series.
I think it's hard not to.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they've got the pieces
anyways.
to do it. He's a Texas boy. Send him back home. I mean, to me, it just don't make sense. And they've got the right pieces where the Giants, could use that. The Giants need a lot of help. They need not just one piece. They need a piece in the offense. They need a piece in the pitching staff. They need a lot.
Yeah,
not a great system.
They definitely need some prospects, some guys in there. Like people were getting excited over Christian Arroyo a couple years ago. He's not any good. They obviously moved on from him, but that was like their best prospect in the system. So
and I
Corbin Martin
he's
is down in the minors.
Overrated prospect in baseball. I remember writing in the Black Book, most overrated prospect in baseball. And I didn't see it at all. And that's why you should get the Black Book, because now the football Black Book is out that. And Chris Meaney wrote the DFS chapter. And of course, you got great stuff in there for myself and all the other contributors. Go get your Fantasy Football Black Book 2019 on Amazon for paperback and Kindle. And of course, it's on iTunes as well. #1 in fantasy sports again for a reason on Amazon. That's right. #1, baby. First you're last. So what are you looking at from a betting line tonight, Meaney?
Okay, yeah, let's wrap
take
up
a breath. This is a tricky one here.
It's like, where did the betting lines go here? Yeah, so I'm just gonna stay away from that Yankees and Mets game altogether. If it looks like there's not going to be some rain, I may take the over. There could be some runs. I like Arizona on the road actually as a road dog. I like the Cardinals on the road over Miami. I like the Red Sox at home. I think you can take them by a couple runs. They've had some success against lefties, and I know Sale's going to have a dominant game. Let's get in on Washington on the road and the Dodgers. So lots of road teams. And the Dodgers, the Nationals, the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals. Got to ride the road teams tonight, guys.
All right, there you have it. You can follow us on Twitter at LineStar App, at Joe Pisapia 17, and at Chris Meaney. And I'm telling you, tonight's a night for that app. Get that app. Make sure you're using it with your lineups tonight, because I'm telling you, you're going to be grateful that you did. That'll do it for us. There's nothing left to do except step out of the on deck circle and into the batter's box and go yard. We'll see you next time, kids.
You've been listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.